dwelling place, along with Genesis, has been located on the northwest side for 20 years. We've seen how the neighborhood has changed, and we've seen the growth and development. And along with that growth, there comes a lot of excitement, but there also comes concern for persons that may be displaced because of the inability to afford market rents in the community. That's why we wanted to stay on the west side, so that people could stay here and could remain in a community that they love. There is a lot of loyalty to the west side.
Collaboration is not an easy process, but the thing that holds collaborative efforts together is the fact that we all want the same thing, that there's a common goal. And sometimes you just have to let everything else go and push forth. Dwelling Place and the partners really knew how to do that.
The partners that are serving in Plaza Roosevelt project consist of Ferris State University, Habitat for Humanity as the convener, Grand Rapids Public School District, Mercy Health, the City of Grand Rapids, the Hispanic Center of Western Michigan, Granville Avenue Arts and Humanity, Roosevelt Park Neighborhood Association, as well as Dwelling Place. A part of those 9 consists of a coalition that we have kind of developed with neighbors in the neighborhood to really try to empower them and provide leadership opportunities. And they're the Neighborhood Partner Committee. And the Neighborhood Partner Committee has actually been the group that's kind of helped guide us through this ugly, beautiful process.
When I first started at Harrison, we had roughly 900 students, and currently we are at about 670. I have noticed over the last 2 to 3 years is parents talking about, the mortgages, the rent going up to levels where they can't afford it anymore. And so that has families making a tough decision, and unfortunately, those decisions end up usually having students and families leave the area.
We have a couple families who attend Harrison Park. There are 6 of them all together, and they're having to share 2 queen beds in a hotel. And that's what is affordable for them right now.
That's the reality of a lot of our families here in this neighborhood.
We have a vested interest in supporting our families to help keep the kids in our school, keep them close to their neighborhood school, keep them in the city of Grand Rapids.
When we collaborate, we're talking about what impact we're having for our students, and I think that's important. So when we're collaborating in the community, it's the same.
If you don't gather that engagement and get their input, they're not comfortable with something, and then you see more complaints about it or fear of the change that's about to happen. But if you work with them and the stakeholders that are in that area, you a lot of times end up with a better project with safety improvements.
Talking to teachers, talking to people who live in the neighborhood, talking to kids, talking to students. And that was the information that I think really provided a wonderful story for Dwelling Place and the collaborative partners to come together and say, let's really do this.
In the beginning, we really didn't have all our I's dotted and our T's crossed. We didn't have a full awareness of what it was going to really take to really be successful in neighborhood revitalization. And so there's been a huge learning curve over the last 8 years that we've had to have a better understanding of. And even after 8 years, that understanding is still limited. We still have to remain very open-minded, and we still have to make sure that we're engaging the neighbors in a way that becomes very effective and very impactful for the ones that we're actually trying to serve in this community.
I remember when we did the walkthrough on Pine with neighbors, and a lot of them were coming out of their houses like, we don't want this, we're gonna put our houses up for sale. And a few for sale signs did go up. But then we had an engagement at Stocking Elementary School, and people were able to listen and learn more about the project, and that it was going to serve working families, and that it was going to replace a very vacant, empty school building that was falling down and around, and there was broken glass in the parking lot. And they realized that this is actually going to improve their home values. This is actually going to improve the walkability of their neighborhood, and it's also going to reduce crime. And then those for sale signs came down, and those thoughts came down. So that was another positive impact.
I think that this process is like square dancing together as partners. When you start off dancing, you're not very good at it. Sometimes you step on each other's toes. Sometimes you don't get the right moves. Sometimes you have to do it all over again. We're gonna learn to dance together. We're gonna make some mistakes along the way, but we're not gonna be wallflowers. We're gonna all try to learn this new dance as we try to walk together and dance together, and hopefully we'll get good at it.
The Plaza Roosevelt partnership is the single most dynamic, most collaborative partnerships I've ever had the privilege of working on. It is transforming the way that Grand Rapids Public Schools approaches community engagement, and is really symbolic of what the future needs to look like.
In the Genesis housing developments, we have a value of trying to build community among the people that live there. Many of the people that we serve have special needs, so that's particularly important to have a functioning community that supports each other.
Dwelling Place made sure that there were living quarters made available specifically for our Challenge Scholars families so they could remain in the area, that their students, their kids could graduate from Union High School and benefit from having their post-secondary education or a technical skill paid for. It was a wonderful collaboration, and Dwelling Place was first and foremost a step up to that to make sure that that would happen.
Affordable housing is necessary for everyone, and everyone deserves a dwelling place.
We at West Grand Neighborhood Organization believe that everyone deserves a dwelling place.
Everybody deserves a dwelling place.
I believe as a resident, everyone deserves a dwelling place.